What you see is what you get. Or in the case of today's video, what you see isn't always what you get. Today we're taking a different spin on this video, and I am covering a topic that I haven't really done in a while. I was going through the list of video topics that I have lined out that I need to cover, and this is one that, well, like I said, it's been a while, and it's something that I feel like I always like to address, and it's important to not only myself, but for the community as well. So we're going to talk about that today. So what you see here on YouTube, on social media, it's my persona. It's like being Bruce Wayne, if you will, but not with all of the money. Instead of being Bruce Wayne and turning into Batman and putting on that bat suit, I put on my hat, and that becomes my persona. That becomes my superhero outfit, honestly. I often joke about wearing many hats in all of the different things that I do. But my secret is, my hat is like my mask. And when I put that on, it lets me be somebody that I'm not. The extrovert, the influencer. That's not really me. It took me a long time to figure that out, and to give you a backstory, to talk about why this is so important, because in all reality, I am an introvert, and I've talked many times on this channel specifically about all of the mental health issues and problems that I have gone through in the past and still even currently. My entire life, I felt like people were watching me, and it was something that I struggled with for a long time. And it's something that I struggled even more significantly with in my youth. When I was 14 years old, if you don't know, I dropped out of high school. I had severe anxiety, severe social anxiety. Going into a school with hundreds of other students was very overwhelming for me, and I couldn't handle that. So on top of anxiety and depression, I dropped out, and that really didn't help my social skills any, and it took many years for me to adapt, and I'm still not comfortable in large social situations. So as silly as this might sound, putting on a hat helps me mask some of that. It helps me really step out and be that person that I'm just normally not. And to me, it's like camouflage almost when I'm out and about, because I don't quite feel as though people are looking at me as intensely, if you will. And that might be really hard to understand if you've never experienced anything like that before. Putting on a hat often helps me create videos here on YouTube, and you've seen over the years, I've worn a lot of different hats. It helps. It even helps in social situations. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not the only thing that helps, and I can definitely go outside without a hat, but it does help significantly for me. And it's just helped over the years develop the inner thoughts and feelings and confidence that I need to put on that show, if you will. Now, like I said, it's not the only thing that helps, but nowadays, more than ever, it's what separates Zach, the content creator, influencer, or TCM security employee, or whatever you want to call me, from who Zach really is. It's the mask that I get to put on that helps give me enough courage to sit here and put out these videos and help people, because I genuinely, truly, honestly want to help people. And it takes a lot to do that sometimes, because I never intended to be whatever this is that you see here today. I simply wanted to help people. So becoming this quote unquote influencer and being noticed and being admired and being thanked all the time, while I truly, honestly appreciate and value, is extremely overwhelming for me. So I put on the mask and I create the videos and I help people, because I know that you people need that. And I need that too. I always wish there was somebody out there like me long ago helping guide me into a path of information technology and there wasn't. I'm incredibly honored, and I'm incredibly humbled, and so many feelings that I can't even describe, that I am able to help millions of people at this point. But real life Zach, the Zach behind the camera when the camera's off, who walks around this house in my boxers and t-shirt, no hat on, that Zach is a complete introvert. And I always have been. I enjoy my time alone or with small groups of people. Going into large situations, well, that's just a complete sensory overload for me. But I've learned through the years how to kind of cope with those things and those feelings and deal with them the best that I can. It's extremely overwhelming. And by the end of the day, as Heath Adams would say, my social bucket is full and I'm just completely burned out. I can't wait to go to sleep, right? And I know there's a lot of people that feel that same way. It's taken many years to do this, but I'm still no professional at it. I'm still by no means an extrovert, but I can fake it until I make it. One thing about me with the social anxiety, and whether that's in fact due to the anxiety or due to just hearing, which I don't really think that is, but I find it incredibly difficult to hear people talk in larger situations, in large rooms, and especially when there's lots of other conversations going on at one time, or when there are lots of other noises happening. That can be very, very overwhelming for me. The entire month of April, I've pretty much been traveling like nonstop. And just this last Friday, we'd just gotten home. I had maybe been home 24 hours and I had to go to a dance recital, and there was a lot of people there. And again, I hadn't been home for 24 hours, and I really needed more time to unwind and digest just being gone for so long. And went to the dance recital, lots of loud noises, music, people talking, cheering. I was completely overwhelmed, and I had to leave because I just couldn't handle it. I literally could not handle it anymore. And I was so close to home that I had to go. I don't always get that option. I don't always have the availability. In fact, being in Florida, going to Hackspace Con and being there all day, I couldn't just leave. Or being in downtown Chicago at McCormick Place for a HIMSS conference, I had to be in attendance there. There was 40,000 people. And I couldn't just leave because I had responsibilities. But that's overwhelming. I share this story with you because I'm only human. Like, I'm only me, right? And I have my own issues and my own things that I have to deal with, just like many of you out there. So I think many people see these personas that a lot of us on YouTube may create or may display, but that's not always what you see behind the scenes. What you see is not always what you get. And I share this more specifically because I know that I'm not the only quote unquote influencer who feels this way. In fact, I know for a fact Heath Adams feels the same exact way because we've talked about it in detail. So I wanted to share that for a couple different reasons. And, one of those things, if you haven't figured out yet, is because I was upset by a comment that was received. And in fact, Heath Adams was upset as well. And this happened while we were in Chicago. And now I know you guys are going to be out there saying, Zach, don't let this bother you. It's not a big deal. Like, somebody is always going to be unhappy, which is true. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. But when we put so much effort into putting ourselves out there, we don't want to see that negative feedback because we don't want to come across in any negative way, right? We don't, and I'll get into this so you understand. Now, let me set the stage again for you here, because it's not only myself that deals with these social anxieties, Heath does as well. And again, we tried our best at Hackspace Con. Overall response was phenomenal, except for one person. And I respect this person. I have no idea who they are, but I genuinely appreciate any feedback. But they said that we were unapproachable. And that honestly killed me. And it killed Heath too, because the last thing that we want to do is be unapproachable. Like, we don't want people to see us and think that they can't come up to us, because in all reality, right, like if we're honest about this, and I hate saying this because this is not the person that I am by any means, but between Heath and I, across all of the social medias, we have like over 1 million followers, right? So we're bound to get noticed, and we're bound to have somebody come up and say something to us. And that's never what we had intended. That's never something that we wanted from doing what we do, because we both have social anxiety. We're not ready for that. We're not prepared. It's new to us. So we don't want to come across as we are unapproachable, that we are, jerks or a-holes, if you will. We only care about helping people and changing people's lives. So, like, we want to encourage people to come up to us and say hello to us or say thank you to us. We genuinely appreciate that. But I have to tell you, for some of you out there, just as hard as it is for you to come up to us and say anything to us, it's just as difficult for each one of us to do the same to you. It's incredibly hard. Now, we try, and maybe we're not always good at it, but the intent is to never have anybody feel like we are anybody special, because we're not. We are both human as well. We are all human beings, and we all share very similar backgrounds, experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions. And that includes anxiety. And that's okay. Heath and I are both weird. We're introverts. We're nerdy. We're just really just freaking weird, honestly. But we're just people, normal people. And what matters most to us, like I've said millions of times before, probably at this point, is we just want to help people. We don't want to come across in any negative way. But I assure you, and I promise you, that if you ever saw either one of us anywhere in public, we would love to have you come up and say hi to us. Like, that is a really cool thing. And I'd say that through experience, because after going to HackSpaceCon and having people come up to me and thank me and tell me some of the most amazing things that I've ever heard in my life in person, truly is something that I never thought I would experience. It puts this whole YouTube persona influencer thing into a completely different perspective. So I guess this is one of those weird issues of being an introverted influencer. But I think it's important to know that, again, what you see isn't always what you get. I'm a nerd. I talk about nerdy stuff, right? We're talking about IT things, cybersecurity, the cloud, and programming, and all types of things. And Heath is talking about hacking. We're just nerds. And if you know anything about nerds, a lot of us are introverts. A lot of us do have anxieties, depression even. But we try our best. And we do what we can. Again, just being real with you, I never intended this. I never intended to be whatever. And Heath never intended that either. In our small circle of, cybersecurity, we're looked up to. Heath is especially looked up to. And people love coming up to him and saying thank you to him. Just saying hi. Meeting the cyber mentor. Like, that's cool. That's legit. I appreciate that, and I respect that, and I admire that from not only like the people who want to come up to Heath and say those things, but for Heath as well, because he does a phenomenal job of interacting with all the people, and I think that's very respectable. But again, I assure you, if you knew either one of us, and I promise you there will be people in the comments who have actually met us and interacted with us, will tell you that we're just normal, regular people. I guess we're not normal. We're totally weird. But, like, we're just people. We're just big teddy bear nerds. We're no different. We're no better than any one of you out there. Except for the fact that we're probably some of your biggest cheerleaders that you'll ever have. Now, the last reason that I'm bringing this up is because we're going to be attending more conferences. a few more conferences. We just went to Hackspace Con at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. We were just at the HIMSS conference in Chicago. Now, next up in August is DEF CON. And then after that, we're going to be doing B-Sides Albuquerque. And then we're going to be doing Wild West Hackenfest out in the Dakotas and the Black Hills, which I'm super stoked about because Heath will be keynoting that. And I want to bring this up because there are going to be a lot of you out there who know us, especially at DEF CON and at Wild West Hackenfest. And we're going to have booths there. So please come up to us. Please say hello to us. Shake our hands. Take our swag, because we are going to have a lot of it. But please, don't feel like we don't want to talk to you, because I promise you, we do. So I'm not quite sure of the point of this video entirely, other than just sharing my personal thoughts, feelings, perspectives, and what it's like on the other side of this camera thing. And to know, or for you to know, and to understand, or to just feel that, hey, there's other people out there just like you. And it's taken a lot for me to get to where I am today, to be able to do this, to do any of this, to be able to put videos out on YouTube, or to be able to talk to people in person. It's taken a long time to figure out. Still not the best at it, but I'll continue to try, just as I hope you do as well. So if you see us anywhere, please say hi. And if we give that awkward glance back and forth where it's like, oh, are you who I think you are? And I'm just like, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try to, reach out before you do. You never know. We're getting better at this, or at least we're trying. But I hope to see you anywhere. And I hope if you are somebody who experiences social anxieties like we do, that you also find a way to make it better. Because there are other people just like you. You're not alone. And I think that's important. I think that's important to understand. So that's all I got for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, take it easy.